Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It was a horrific case of neglect, abuse, and torture, which led to the death of an 11-year-old boy in foster care. A new report out today calls the death preventable and says ministry staff neglected the most basic social work practices. We'll have exclusive reaction from the boy's father and grandmother in a moment. But first, here's CTV's Ben Miljure with the calls for major change and a warning some details are disturbing.
So don't look away. That's the message. Don't look away.
Child welfare advocates, Indigenous leaders and elders gathered Tuesday as BC's representative for children and youth identified the gaps in the system that led to the horrific death of an 11-year-old boy now known by the pseudonym Colby.
This story broke our hearts, but it also built our conviction that in BC we can do better and we must do better for our children.
Colby died in February 2021, and last year his foster parents, who were also extended family, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and assault. The court heard his foster mother beat him until he was unresponsive, and he later died in hospital. While in care, he and his sister were forced to eat feces, vomit, and urine, and forced to eat dog food. They were regularly beaten and often bound with their eyes taped shut. A report released Tuesday says ministry staff failed to check on the children for 7 months and identifies a number of other failures.
The missed background checks, the lack of eyes on the children, and the lack of response to the concerns of family, medical, and educational professionals contravene the most basic social work practices.
The report calls on the province to make sweeping changes to the child welfare system, and the Minister of Children and Family Development promised to do just that.
Looking at the whole system, how we provide these supports, when we provide them, and what it looks like to support families with prevention, with the services and supports that they need for kids to thrive.
Many in the audience have heard this promise before, and they'll believe it when they see it.
There's lots of good reports sit on a shelf, good recommendations that never get implemented. So we'll see. Time will tell if it's good work.
In response to this report, the province has identified 8 priorities for overhauling the child welfare system. It says it will establish a cross-ministry group to lead that work beginning this fall. Ben Miljure, CTV News, Vancouver.